if Olo were a restaurant company, we would be the third largest in the nation. And from a digital perspective, we'd be number one. Well, Olo started over 20 years ago, and the idea was, wouldn't it be great if I could order and pay ahead of time, and then skip this long line of people waiting for their coffee? I could have that skip the line experience. It would also be better for the restaurant, for the coffee shop. And I'm pleased that today, 20 years later, we are now doing this digital ordering as a capability for over 85,000 restaurants across 700 enterprise brands. So just for a sense of scale, if Olo were a restaurant company, we would be the third largest in the nation, behind only McDonald's and Starbucks in terms of sales volume on an annualized basis. And from a digital perspective, we'd be number one.
Now, Noah, your mission is hospitality at scale. Can you elaborate on what this means and how you envision technology bridging the gap between mass market service and a personal dining experience?
I think of hospitality as how you make somebody feel, and that's really what great purveyors of hospitality do. Now it's possible with all of the data that we're able to collect and the use of AI to turn that data into intelligence and to give it to the people working inside the restaurant at the right moment, right at their fingertips, so they can have a more personalized experience with the guest and make them, as we say at Olo, feel like a regular. Make every guest feel like a regular.
Now, walk me through the Olo flywheel effect. Can you explain how your solutions work together to help restaurants better understand their guests?
It starts with that digital ordering that we started with as a company. That has grown and grown in the industry. It's now just under 20% of overall transactions that are digital transactions. All of those are super data rich. So it might be when we send you an email knowing, well, Judy likes this. This is what she got last time. So send an image with this as the hero image. It might be making a recommendation to you saying, Judy always gets this one thing. Other guests like her like this other thing. Maybe she'd like this. Maybe we should offer this up as a really smart recommendation based on what we know about her and everybody else in the database. That's really the Olo data flywheel, guest data flywheel in action. More orders, more payments, that drives more data, that lets us engage with the guest better, and that in turn drives more orders, more payments, and the flywheel spins faster and faster.
Now, Noah, you've mentioned that Olo processes over 2 million orders daily across 700 restaurant brands. So what are the biggest challenges at this scale, and how do you ensure you meet customers' needs as technology and consumer expectations evolve?
Well, it starts at that scale of really being bulletproof reliable. We take reliability at scale very, very seriously. And that is really stitched into how we operate at Olo. So gone are the days of sort of the buy versus build decision. Now brands can buy into the Olo platform, choose the partners they want to work with, and also build on top.
All right, now traffic remains a challenge for restaurants as consumers cut back on spending. Now tell me, how can restaurants attract customers and boost orders without impacting their bottom line?
So it's short-term helpful, long-term harmful to brands to resort to deals and discounts and value only. We think there's a better way, and it comes to looking at that guest data and thinking about how you can personalize communications to the guest and really be thoughtful about who are the guests that I want to drive back into the restaurant? Where can I go and find more high-value guests for my brand? A great example of this is a brand like Five Guys Burgers and Fries, who has been a customer of ours for 15 years now, has never done marketing, sort of famous for never doing marketing. They just have viral word of mouth that spread the word about Five Guys. They started to work with us around this kind of data-driven marketing to their guests. Just 150 of their stores over 6 months, and they collected 4.5 million email addresses of guests who said, I want to hear from Five Guys. All they did was send out communications to those guests that were relevant to them, personalized to them, and it drove $2 million of incremental sales they attribute to that communication. It's a great example of a brand doing something that seems so simple, but it's so helpful in driving profitable traffic, and we think that is absolutely essential, and that is the strategy that's going to help brands not just survive, but thrive in the years ahead.
All right, well, Noah, it's been wonderful to talk with you. Thanks for joining me on Floor Talk today.
Thank you so much, Judy.